So we have big news for the unemployed and the players of Wuthering Waves. We have an update to Fleurdelys and her censorship. Now, obviously, if you guys don't remember, there was a big whole debacle going on with Wuthering Waves and censorship as the CCP pretty much stepped in and created a ton of stuff to, pretty much prevent Wuthering Waves from putting out some of these characters and from actually having these designs in the game. And well, this is what we ended up with. Obviously, this was the first design for Fleurdelys, and then they had to change it to some short things, obviously, to kind of appeal to whatever, things were going on. And then they changed, Fleurdelys' design in the latest update, and arguably it looks better. Now, this might be just because of the quality of the screenshot and the quality of the game. It seems that these two are pretty low quality, to be fair. But again, you can see they've massively improved the model, and honestly, it's better than the last two. So I think that a lot of people are getting very excited about this happening because, again, it proves that, Wuthering Waves can still get away with some really nice designs. Obviously, this was a kind of jerk reaction to a lot of the stuff that was going on with the Chinese government and them telling to change it. So obviously, they just had to slap anything on there just to kind of avoid that age rating thing, which obviously, it got Wuthering Waves to go up in an age rating, which was a shame. But obviously, now they've had a little bit of time to cook and think about the restrictions and what they can actually do and can't do. And now they've created an even better design, which people are much happier with. And it's really nice to see. Now, obviously, this is a pretty crazy, video to be making. But hey, I wanted to talk about it. Say, Jesus Christ, Fleurdelys' ass cheek is as big as half of Carlotta. The high comparison jokes never end. Obviously, you've got this dude with a freak pig and it just says unleashed. So obviously, people are very happy that this happened. They say, wait, they made it transparent. Holy peak, never doubt Kuro. Which again, yeah, it definitely looks like they did make it transparent as well. And overall, it's just a massive, massive win. Now, I think that, I actually filmed a video earlier on talking about a lot of the negative reviews coming to Wuthering Waves. So again, it'll be out very, very soon if you guys want to see that. But essentially, a lot of people were complaining about the censorship in a lot of the negative reviews that were coming to Wuthering Waves, which was a shame to see, seeing as, I get like it was an issue, but I don't think it's anything worth like putting a bad review on. And obviously, yeah, we got like Be Aware. That recently developers censored a limited 5-star character that was already out, Cantarella, and who people have spent money on. And not only did they not compensate anyone, but to this day, they didn't even acknowledge it happening. Even Hoyoverse didn't allow themselves to do something so scummy. Now, I think that is incorrect because they did actually talk about it. So, again, it is kind of crazy. Obviously, a lot of people are pointing towards Hoyo Shields sabotaging it and Hoyo Shields going in the background. I just don't think it's the case. I feel like it's some people that are just angry with the fact that their character got censored and, maybe they're a little bit of an incel or something like that. But again, that's been pretty much the brigading that's been going on over on Steam due to a lot of that stuff. But I don't know why they're even writing those reviews now, because if they've seen the current patches that are out, they're doing a pretty good job in terms of fighting against the censorship and keeping that age rating low while keeping the players happy. Now, obviously, the Cantarella one is a shame, but honestly, let's be real. It was a little line on a character design. Who honestly cares about that? Like, come on. You got to be like one of the biggest losers in the world if you care so deeply about a little bit of a line over on a certain area of Cantarella's design. Like, come on. I completely understand that they changed, Cantarella's design as a whole, and, people weren't refunded for that. But let's be real, it was not a big detail, not a big change at all. And I think that people are kind of overblowing it, especially in those like recommended things. And I even said in the other videos that it's kind of scary that these people are like using the word censorship and stuff in the kind of negative bit. Oh my God, that is a crazy gif, sorry. People are using the negative kind of connotations of censorship, and obviously people are always going to assume the worst, when in actual fact, it's really not that bad. And this new news, like news in quotation marks, I don't even know if you can consider this news, obviously shows us that Kuro Games are committed to actually creating good character designs that can also fit in with the, kind of guidelines. And if you just give them a little bit of time to cook, it will be fine. And in regards to the Cantarella stuff, I think it's something that they're not going to change. There wasn't really any reason for it to be there in the first place. Whereas with the Fleurdelys stuff, I definitely do understand, because these shorts look terrible, they don't look good at all. And, obviously all of the Wuthering Waves players did understand that this was a hot fix. This was just a really quick thing that they had to throw in there and that they were planning on changing something in the future. But now they've actually cooked with it and people are more than happy with the new design. So honestly, I feel like, this is a massive W for the Wuthering Waves community at the moment. They say, is it possible that they make Fleurdelys playable? Which apparently, maybe they could make her playable. I'm not sure though, obviously, because, she is a boss. So it doesn't seem like it makes sense to me, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. I would really like it. They say, did they change Cantarella again too? Which again, no, they did not. I don't think there is any reason at all for them to change it. They say, stop making this a thing again. Don't let those horror shows know about this again. Which I think, you know, people are saying, like, don't let the horror shows know. Obviously, if you guys remember in the last drama, I feel like, you know, a lot of the posts were brigaded by horror shows, essentially kind of elevating the censorship situation into more than it should have been, which I think is why a lot of people are assuming that a lot of the negative reviews going towards the Steam and stuff like that is coming from horror shows, is because due to their involvement in the previous drama with a lot of the censorship, which I definitely do think could be a factor. But I honestly don't think it's like the end of the world. I don't think that, you know, they're causing literally everything, you know, behind the scenes. I feel like, yes, there is actually some genuinely annoyed Wuthering Waves, kind of just losers who feel the need to go and spread a lot of misinformation, who also feel the need to just go and negatively review Wuthering Waves due to a small censorship feature, which again, you know, Wuthering Waves never even promised. And as we said, we know we look through the TOS, we look through a lot of the kind of rules behind Wuthering Waves' censorship, and even they confirmed that they are allowed to, you know, change things. They're allowed to edit characters as much as they please, even after you have pulled them. That's in the TOS, you have agreed to that. Now, obviously, it's not my fault, it's not their fault if you don't read it, it's not anyone's fault if you don't read it, but apart from yours, obviously, because, again, you know, it was always there, it's just that you didn't read it. Now, people say, oh, but, you know, no one reads the TOS. Well, maybe you should start reading them now if you honestly care that much about stuff like changing characters, because if you do care that much, then you should be reading TOS. But for a lot of the people that don't care, including me, I'm continuing to not read any of the TOS because I don't care about it, you know? I honestly don't care too much about the fact that there is a little line that is gone from Cantarella. But yeah, I'd say that's the only kind of response that has come up after this, you know, pretty much, you know, people being still mad, I guess, at this entire situation, because yeah, you know, the censorship on Fleurdelys does look so much better, and hopefully that this is just a kind of moving forward point on from, you know, a lot of the stuff that has been, you know, happening with the censorship. I feel like pretty much everything has now been restored to what it was, apart from the one Cantarella thing, which people just don't care about. You know, people don't care about that. You know, normal people don't care about that. And hopefully with the future designs coming to future characters, obviously a lot of concerns as well, where people saying, will future designs get censored and will we not have a chance to see what they could have looked like and what, you know, Kuro Games could have actually been cooking? I feel like, you know, it's probably, you know, I think we're still going to get some pretty insane character designs. Obviously, we've seen some of the ones that are coming up with Zani and Chacona. I feel like they're pretty insane too. So honestly, I don't think it's going to affect anything to do with character designs in the future. And it just means that Kuro Games is going to be a little bit more careful, but it doesn't mean that, you know, a lot of this stuff is going to be a recurring trend. I think, you know, they'll definitely learn from a lot of this kind of situation. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this unemployed news, because again, this news is only for the people that are absolute degenerates and losers, because let's be real, it's not that big of a video. But hey, I'm really happy that they changed Fleurdelys in the end, and let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think that the changes is good? Do you like this new design for Fleurdelys? Because hey, I definitely like the change to Fleurdelys at the moment, but hey, you know, we'll have to wait and see what the kind of overall response is in general after that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all.